Lockheed Martin is making the pitch that its deep-in-production F-35 Joint Strike Fighter can provide 80% of the capabilities of the F-47 next-generation air dominance fighter at half the cost. Achieving this would come by taking TEP developed under the NGAD fighter program, which Lockheed lost to Boeing, and injecting it into the F-35. Going farther than just minor modifications, it would give a NASCAR upgrade to make the F-35 world-first 5th generation plus fighter. In this video, we take a closer look at the upgrade and tell you everything we know about it so far. The aircraft we know today as the F-35 was built to meet the demands of multiple fighting forces with a single, highly capable aircraft. This new Joint Strike Fighter, Pentagon officials believed, would allow for streamlined logistical supply lines, maintenance, and training. It would also leverage the same stealth technologies found in the F-22, with a laundry list of requirements from the US Navy, Air Force, DARPA, and soon, the UK and Canada. The Joint Strike Fighter program quickly moved from its official proposal in 1995 to two competitive prototypes in 1997. Lockheed Martin's X-35 and Boeing's X-32. And the new fighter had its work cut out for it. The Joint Strike Fighter needed to replace at least 5 different aircraft across all the different services, including the high-speed interceptor F-14 Tomcat and the tank-killing close air support A-10 Thunderbolt II. While replacing all these aircraft with one plane would theoretically save money, the long list of requirements led to a landslide of expensive complications. In fact, while the X-35 was still competing for the contract, many weren't sure such an aircraft could even be built in significant numbers. While both the X-32 and X-35 prototypes performed well, the deciding factor in the competition may have been the F-35's complicated short takeoff and vertical landing, STOVL flight. Because the US Marine Corps intended to use this new plane as a replacement for the AV-8B Harrier jump jets, America's new stealth fighter had to be able to fill the same vertical landing, short takeoff role. A lift fan design used in the X-35 connected the engine at the back of the aircraft to a drive shaft that would power a large fan installed in the aircraft's fuselage behind the pilot. When hovering, the F-35 would orient its engine downward, not unlike the X-32, but it would also pull air from above the aircraft and force it down through the fan and out the bottom, creating two balanced sources of thrust that made the aircraft far more stable. It also helped the F-35 notch a win in the looks category. You can look at the Lockheed Martin airplane and say, that looks like what I would expect a modern, high-performance, high-capable jet fighter to look like. Lockheed Martin engineer Rick Rezebek says in a PBS Nova episode, "You look at the Boeing airplane, and the general reaction is, I don't get it." Ultimately, Lockheed Martin won out over Boeing's unusual-looking X-32 prototype in October of 2001. The future looked bright for the newly named F-35. So, what really separates the F-35 from the fighter jets that have come before it? 2 words: data management. Today's pilots have to manage a huge amount of information while flying, and doing so means splitting your time between traveling the speed of sound and a collage of screens, gauges, and sensor readouts screaming for your attention. Unlike previous fighter jets, the F-35 uses a combination of a heads-up display and helmet-based augmented reality to keep vital information directly in the pilot's field of view. In the F-16, each sensor was tied to a different screen. Often, the sensors would show contradictory information. Lee tells Popular Mechanics, the F-35 fuses everything into a green dot if it's a good guy, and a red dot if it's a bad guy. It's very pilot-friendly. All the information is shown on a panoramic cockpit display that is essentially 2 giant iPads. It's not just how the information reaches the pilot, but also how it's collected. The F-35 is capable of gathering information from a wide variety of sensors located on the aircraft and from information sourced from ground vehicles, drones, other aircraft, and nearby ships. It collects all of that information, as well as network-driven data about targets and nearby threats, and spits it all out into a single interface the pilot can easily manage while flying. With a god's eye view of the area, F-35 pilots can coordinate efforts with fourth-generation aircraft, making them deadlier in the process. All of that information may sound daunting, but for fighter pilots who've experienced the demanding task of compiling information from a dozen different screens and gauges, the F-35's user interface is nothing short of miraculous. Add to that incredible stealth technology and the ability to reach speeds of up to Mach 1.6, and you have a truly remarkable aircraft. But even the most advanced technology requires updates. After losing the NGAD competition to Boeing, Lockheed Martin decided to upgrade the F-35 by incorporating technologies developed for their 6th generation concept. Details about the major upcoming upgrade were shared by Lockheed Martin's CEO Jim Taiclet during earnings call on April 22nd, where he stated, "And we plan on applying those NGAD technologies to our current systems, making our already proven products even more relevant to the future, as well as enhancing the capabilities we provide in ongoing and future development. For example, the knowledge and technology development gained from our investments in the NGAD competition strengthened our conviction to enhance the F-35 to a 5th generation plus capability. And I challenged the team to deliver 80% of a 6th gen capability at 50% of the cost. In support of this vision, we're also committing to drive disruptive innovation and building upon our recent established internal capabilities and AI autonomy, crewed-uncrewed teaming, and command and control systems across the whole company. We have aligned these technology investments with our customer priorities and demonstrating meaningful increases in capabilities at relatively low cost." In addition, Taiclet told shareholders that the firm would not be protesting the NGAD Combat Jet Award to Boeing. This is a relatively major development. Instead, they will be rolling their research and development back into their existing fighter aircraft, the F-35 and F-22, to make them more potent, and presumably to step in if the F-47 doesn't make it into production. According to Jim Taiclet, the company is jointly investing with the U.S. government and allies to enhance key technologies for future air combat. Some improvements are part of ongoing F-35 upgrades, while others come from research and development efforts linked to the NGAD program, funded by both the government and Lockheed Martin. Taiclet highlighted the focus on advanced sensors capable of detecting threats at greater distances without revealing the aircraft's position. Enhancements in radar and passive infrared systems are critical, with infrared offering the advantage of passive detection. He also pointed to new stealth technologies involving materials, aircraft shapes, and countermeasures developed for NGAD that will be applied to maintain the F-35's survivability against future threats. The second part of the equation is you want to have a tracking system and a weapon that can go farther and hit the enemy plane before they can ever even reach you with their weapon. And so there are techniques and capabilities we delivered with NGAD, our NGAD bid that were developed for that we can now apply here. So it's an F-35. So we're basically going to take the chassis and turn it into a Ferrari. It's like a NASCAR upgrade, so to speak, where we could take the F-35, apply some of these co-funded technologies, both from NGAD and the F-35 program, and you're going to have, again, my challenge to my aeronautics team is let's get 80% of 6th gen capability at half the price. That's something that these are engineers. They wouldn't have agreed to this if they didn't think there was a path to get there. That's something we're going to go out and do. And this is the best value approach that we've been kind of working our way towards that at Lockheed Martin over the last 4 or 5 years. Taiclet explained that Lockheed Martin is focused on delivering the best value to customers who face limited budgets and growing threats. To achieve this, The company is using digital technologies to transfer innovations across different systems, aiming to create more cost-effective solutions. Take let emphasize that in today's environment, value, including scalability, affordability, and reliability, is often as important as having the most advanced technology. Taken as a whole, the world's largest defense contractor has now doubled down on its F-35, which could look quite different than it does today, at least in concept, in the not-too-distant future. As to if tweaking the Joint Strike Fighter into something that comes close to rivaling a decade's newer design tailored to future threats, we'll have to wait and see. But fulfilling on that claim will be a very tall order. And what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel to always stay in touch. And thanks for watching.